Now, fellas, let me give you some advice. If you consider yourself to be a good father, a good husband, and you don't want your family to walk out on you, well, you want to listen to what I have to tell you. I remember one Father's Day, my family literally said, Dad, wife, kids, we're going to go to the beach. We don't think you should come. In my mind, I'm like, wait, this is Father's Day, right? Nah, it's cool though. Listen, see, when you're a good father, good husband, you want to take care of your family. Sometimes you can get so consumed in trying to provide, so consumed in trying to do what is right. See, I wasn't raised with my father. I had no example, but to my understanding, if I was around, I was a good father. If I was around, I was a good husband. But there's a lot of good guys out there who's doing the best that they can. And everyday wives and kids are like, Dad, you're there, but you're not there. So I took this to God. I'm like, God, what's going on here? Why is this such a problem? Because I mean, there's not a lot of fathers around, and for those who are around, they don't want to be around because the family don't want them to be around. Why? Because they're trying to provide. Now, you do have some who understand, some wives, some kids who do understand, but unfortunately, not all of them do. And as your father is doing everything that he can to provide for the family, you just don't like him around because he messes up the energy. Well, guys, let me explain to you what's happening. See, a few years ago, God explained to me and shared with me the importance of being present. I thought I understood. I told every man that I knew, bro, we need to be present. I know we got a lot going on, but when we're with our family, we need to be present. I thought it clicked, but it didn't really click that well because I was still dealing with some problems. So what it was there was a video that I listened to. Shout out to Prophet Elias. And he asked a question. He said, what's the difference between the Spirit of God and the presence of God? How do you know if you have either or both? And he explained it. Now, the way I understood it was everyone who is a believer has the Spirit, right? Greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. The Spirit of God is there. Now, the presence, there were two individuals. You had David, you had Moses, who always said, God, listen, I mean, do whatever you do, just don't take your presence here. Moses was faced with the promised land, the thing that 400 years the children of Israel were promised this land and was crying out for it, and now it's right in front of them. And Moses was like, listen, you could take these crazy people there, but I'm not going unless you're going. What was it? The present. Well, if you're a Christian, right, don't you all have his presence? Yes and no, right? We do, but it's the acknowledgement, fellas. That's where we're missing it. Now, let me go a little bit more in depth. See, I work from home. This is actually my office. I work from home. I work upstairs. My wife, she homeschools the 4 kids. She works downstairs. Now, technically, we're still married, right? Yeah, we're definitely still married. But I'm not in her presence. She's not in my presence, and it's not acknowledged. Now, that's an extreme example. Have you guys ever been on the same couch and never acknowledge each other? And see, us men, we understand work. We're more logical for the most part. Women, they're more relationship based. What happens is, in a man's mind, we're thinking do. See, you tell me you want the world, I'm thinking, all right, what do I have to do to be able to get this? Is a good man. A lot of good fellas, they're like, yo, listen, you want the world? Go get another one. But a good man, they want to do everything in their power to be able to provide for their family. This is real talk. So what happens is a lot of good men, they get to a point where they get really consumed with being able to do the best that they can. I know this sounds very oxymoron, but hear me out. What happens is you're thinking about, the bills. You're thinking about providing for your family. You're thinking about, how do I continue to keep food on the table, food in the fridge, how do I keep gas? Everything is going up. And you being a good man, you're saying, you know what? I've made this choice. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to show up. And you're trying, man. You're going through all the challenges. See, most people don't understand what a lot of men go through, but going through all the challenges just to be able to provide for your family, to come home and they tell you, oh, I really don't want you to be around. It's like, wow, where are you missing it? I'll tell you here. What happens is we wear hats. You guys all heard this before. The hats of the entrepreneur, the hat of the employee, the hat of the businessman, the hat, this hat, that hat. And what happens is, many cases, that hat bleeds into the environment with our family. See, being that I'm upstairs, I think of all the things that I need to get done, all the things that concern me, all of the burdens, right? God said the burdens are not for us. We could give it and cast it onto him. I think of all the burdens. And this is right before I leave upstairs. I think of all the burdens. I pray, God, man, I need help. And I still have my part, right? Let's say that I have a business, I do sales. I still got to make the call, but the outcome, that's out of my control. I do the best I can, but the outcome, I give it to God. And when you leave it upstairs, don't bring it downstairs, my guy. That is where the disconnect comes. Because you're so caught up in the future, right? Well, baby, I know you want to go to the Bahamas, you want to go to Alaska, you want to do this, you want to do that. Kids, I know you want this, you want that. That's what we're hearing as husband. Now, a good man is thinking to himself, how can I help provide all those things and some? So we get consumed with trying to figure out how do we do it. But what we miss the mark is in the environment of our family. We're thinking about how can we provide them a better future. That's a big no-no. You could be so consumed in the future that you neglect the present, because the present moments now, they'll never be when things are right. So there's a lot of men who finally get it together and realize they don't have a family to share it with. And all they were trying to do was be a good man. So listen, if you haven't heard this today, you haven't heard it this year, you are a good man. I know you're doing everything you can. I speak to men every day and I'm like, Jeff, man, why can't she get it? Well, because we're built different. Man was formed in a garden. A woman, she came out of man, and the first thing that man saw was work, and the first thing that woman saw was relationship. Understand this, we literally speak two different languages. So let's make this year a better year. When you find yourself consumed with trying to figure out how to provide the things that your family desires, I need you to deal with that. But deal with it before you get in their environment. Because if you're dealing with it in their environment, you're not present. You're too much in the future. And when you can't control the future, that creates anxiety. We don't want anxiety, and we don't want you to not be present. So all I ask, go before God, deal with it, right? Beforehand, before you come downstairs. Say, yo, God, this is it. X, Y, Z. Thank you. Now don't get me wrong. You definitely want to make sure that you come with thanksgiving before all, because comparison is the thief of joy. I need you to acknowledge how God got you through before, and that in itself is going to deal with a lot of the challenges you have. So to summarize, if you want to make sure, if you're a good man and it's Father's Day, it's the day after that, you don't feel acknowledged, you don't feel appreciated, that's probably why you're not present. Be present.